going to introduce each of them, and then we can get started. I do not have a presentation on this, but I just had a summary before we start, so we can orient how the session will go. So we have Dr. Eissa Rawas. Dr. Eissa is the Deputy Minister for Umrah Affairs, the Ministry of Hajj. Of course, he handles strategic planning, defining the scope of work, and managing Hajj and Umrah affairs. He also has to do the whole reporting about all this. Some of the successful tasks that the ministry did include the transformation and execution of e-government services, e-tracking of Hajj and Umrah pilgrimage, online support, and status tracking to potential pilgrims abroad. So we're going to listen today about their new endeavors in this regard. We also have Dr. Jarallah Al-Ghamdi, the CIO at the Ministry of Education. He published research and they provided consultancies for the e-government and industry in software metrics, software architecture, e-learning, e-government, and IT strategic planning. Of course, there are several projects handled by the ministry. We're gonna go about some of these, like Project Noor, like the ERP system, and the GIS. We also have in this session Engineer Bander Al Otaibi. Engineer Bander is the head of enterprise business at Samsung, and Samsung Electronic is involved in many of these aspects. We'll listen of their story from the private sector. Of course, they have launched many things from devices to tabs, and these are available everywhere in Saudi. Okay, so let's start, in fact, with the presentations. This way we can have time to discuss with each of the speakers about their projects. So we'll get started with the Al-Hajj Ministry, with Dr. Eissa. If you wish, you can stay there, you can use this, up to you.
Can you give me that?
And this will move the slides around.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. It is a pleasure for me to be with you today to learn and to participate. Well, I thought this panel discussion is directed towards a certain topic,
yes,
which is mentioned in the agenda. But before we go through this, I want just to mention a little bit about Hajj Ministry. And if we just look at the scope of Hajj Ministry, we find that Hajj Ministry is responsible for Hajj for every Muslim in the world. Any Muslim in the world should perform Hajj. It's an order of Allah. So we have about 1 or 2 billion. They have to go through Hajj Ministry to perform Hajj. So that's the first scaring figure that you should find a very simple way to communicate with all those people and to make it easy for them to perform Hajj, and also to make it proper. Not to pay money and not to get service, or not to come here and find yourself doing something else different from what you plan to do. Doing this huge number, you have to select the other difficult part. From this large number, you have to select a certain number which fit the areas and the spaces in the Mecca and Medina and the Mina, Arafat. So that's another big story. Coming from their country, going through the regulations in their country, in the embassy, in the border, and then in immigration and in customs, and going to Mecca, going to Medina, and transportation. All this story showing that there is a very big job which has to be done to overcome this difficulty and to make proper job. For this purpose, the only solution to do it properly and to make sure that every person has his rights completely, and also on the other hand, those who wants to violate, you also have to stop them. The only way to do this is technology. You cannot do anything, any part of this job without going completely to the technology. And this is why when we started about 10 or 12 years ago, we started the Umrah program, Umrah system. It was the first program, the governmental-wise, which is done through a complete electronic circuit, which starts by requesting the visa, going through the package, and going through all the formalities, and then performing Umrah, and then going back. When we started this, the visa used to take about a month or weeks. Now we end up, the full cycle for Umrah visa takes few hours. Since the moment the person think of performing Umrah till he gets it, it can be 6-7 hours. And this is why we noticed that the number of mu'tamirs increased from say 600,000 or less than 1 million. Now those who comes really 5.5 million and above. The requests which we received this year for Ramadan, only for Ramadan, it is over 6 million. Only for Ramadan, not for the whole year. We have now, in fact, in reality, we have about 5 million visa, and we have about 4.5 million came and went back. We have only 300 or 400 of them in Saudi Arabia to finish their Umrah and to go back. There is the possibility that we can have 1 million a month or 2 million a month. There is a possibility. We can do that. It's just we are waiting for the grand projects in Mecca, in Medina, in Tawaf, in Haram, in Mashair to be completed, and we are following up with this. Okay. The topic which we are discussing here is that there is a blame to the governmental sector that it is slow and it does not match the speed of the development which is taking place in technology. And also the other issue which is to be discussed is that the citizens are also not getting involved in or getting scared from using the channels which is offered to them to perform their business in technology-wise. Can you? Anyhow, now for the first issue, is it true that the governmental sector is slow and it does not match the speed of the IT and the technology in the world? Is that true? From my point of view and from Hajj Ministry point of view, we exercise this. As I told you, our scope is very big, and we found that we can be in the top of the technology all the time. And this is what we managed, alhamdulillah, to do. And to do this, we choose the method, the public public-private participation, PPP. Going through this triple P, we managed to overcome all the complications of the public sectors, and we managed to get the state-of-art data centers and all the technology we need, and we got it right, alhamdulillah, about 12 years ago. And as I told you, now the visa take few hours to be given, and also monitoring all the services. Now from my mobile here, I can monitor what's going on in Mecca and Medina, and I can feel which company has violated certain things, and also we can apply to them certain punishment. And also, even this, we made it automatically without an interference. This particular violation should take this punishment, and it goes automatically for this. The successful example which I want to tell you about is the triple P when we did the Umrah project, and alhamdulillah, we got, as we saw that the curve, the number is increasing in a very interesting way. And this year, in particular this year, we managed to get about, say, 1 million a month, beginning from the second month of the year. Safar, Rabi' Awwal, Rabi' Thani, Jumad Awwal, Jumad Thani. We got, and Rajab, we got nearly 1 million visa per month. And also to make sure that those people do not accumulate and do not overstay and do not cause problems, there were sets of rules and of regulations which was done properly in the system, which ended up without any effort from us, that who comes, the Umrah organizers, the Umrah companies, they were keen to get them out when they finish Umrah more than what we used to be. The government used to take this worry and to keep telling that those people who finished Umrah should go. Now we don't say this. We don't mention anything. It's the system. When you violate, if you have a system running, if you get, say, 1% or less than 1%, overstaying, then your system is stopped. And then to get it back, you have to take all those people out. So in this way, the win-win situation occurred. The government win and the win-win-win. It is triple win. The Mu'tamir also winning, the companies and the government through this. And when we applied this also to the services, now we don't have people staying in the road. There is nobody come without a package. Every person who comes, who enters the country has a package, a proper package, a real package, and the company follow him until they get him back out of the country. Now for the second part of the issue here, which is to be discussed, is are the people are willing to go through the channels which is offered by technology. For example, like what we heard from Dr. Engineer Suhail, the smart phones and the smart technology. Now, what we found that, as I told you, we have those million or billions of people. When you do clever enforcement, when you do gentle and clever enforcement for the business part which you want to do, then people will like it, will go through it, and will follow it in details and do whatever is required. As I told you, Mu'tamirs all over the world now they follow the system. Also, the other example is Abshir and Al-Jawazat, the immigration. When they put single way, they did not give us a choice. Either you want to go technology or you to go other. No, it is enforcement, and it is well prepared, and it is done properly. Then everybody has to go through this. But this requires, on the other hand, this requires an infrastructure to be available and to have network coverage, and to have it at a certain expense. It should not be too expensive for the citizens, not to cause them problems to go through technology. I should not, to perform my job, I should not pay too much because I'm going to technology. If I go to technology, then the government, as we heard, this is the second operational plan for Yasser. They will do this, they will take this coverage, and inshallah, what I wish and I dream to see is the real meaning of smart technology or smart devices. The smart means that it runs the job, it runs the business, it expects, and it deals with something which is not pre-programmed. Now, we have the tools, we have the instruments, we have the iPhones, but we use it for a certain job which is pre-prepared, which is not a smart feature, But what we are trying in Hajj ministry, we have a set of systems, a set of channels. All together, inshallah, it will end up in a way that we have a real smart system.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Eissa. Now, I think just to go back to the what is this panel about, the first panel. Now, from the viewpoint of Dr. Eissa, we wanted to see how the citizen needs are being answered by using the technology and by offering that service from the Ministry of Hajj. Can you let us know how was your feedback from the people using this system, from the Mu'tamirin and from the agencies that are running this?
Actually, the feedback is the number.
Right.
Now, if there is any problem, then you should, people running away, you should decrease, you should scatter people here and there. As I told you, every month we found millions, and we try to reduce the number, which means that all the channels, all the systems are being fully understood, and it is user-friendly, and it is in the right way.
Very good. Now, we would like to have, if you have questions, for the Ministry of Hajj on this, anyone from the audience.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Ahmed Darwish. I'm a freelancer, DBA student for e-government studies. For e-participation, do you have any plan to get some feedback from the people who come and visit really Saudi Arabia as citizens, as well as companies working with you to open the space for them to participate and give their opinion about the services that they are getting from the ministry? Thank you very much.
Yes, it is available in our portal, and also each service provider has his own surveys which get the feedback, and which is the base for the future improvement. On our portal, we have several questionnaire which is available for everybody who performed Umrah as a Mu'tamir, or who worked as a service provider, or as an observer, whatsoever. We receive all these feedbacks from everybody.
Very good. Any other question at this time?
I have another question. Can I?
Okay, one more question.
Yeah, one more question, please. As a Ministry of Hajj, you are servicing people from everywhere in the Muslim world. Do you have a plan to connect the Ministry of Hajj with the similar ministries of your ministry everywhere in the world? And for example, with Jordanian Ministry of Hajj, or maybe Ministry of Foreign Affairs, so people coming from these countries can easily get access to whatever they want, or you can access their data from there?
Yeah, it is web service. All the interrelated services is web service. And there is an integration between us and them. Whoever is concerned, whoever is related to the business, he can integrate with us through this web service, and an integration guide is issued. So he can go to the system, do whatever he wants to do, and then get back. Now we integrate with everybody. We integrate with all service providers in the private sectors, and also in the public sectors in the other countries, but through this method.
Thank you very much. Now we can have other questions at the end of the panel. We'll move now to our next speaker, Dr. Jarallah. And we're talking about the mobile government. So
I'll just have some words about mobile government, a very introductory slide. We heard a good presentation from Engineer Suhail about the smart government, which paved the way to my presentation, actually, because all the mobile government is just providing mobile services for this smart government, making the services of the e-government rather than just e-services into the mobile, as services, e-services in the mobile, or mobile services, moving government from e-government to mobile government or government. So why government has to be interested in moving to mobile services? There are quite few reasons. The first is that there were in the first quarter of 2013, 2.1 billion who subscribed to the mobile broadband, and expected to be at the end of 2014, 2.3 billion, which is about 32% of the world population. And over the last 3 years, every year the mobile subscribers increased by almost 40%. And the subscription of the mobile broadband now currently outnumber the fixed broadband subscriptions 3 to 1. There is a survey which shows us how people value their mobiles. How do they think of their importance? Everybody, of course, think that his wallet is very important to be with him always. But for a survey, quite few people were surveyed. If you forget your mobile, are you going to go back home? Or if you forget your wallet, are you going to go back home? 47% of the surveyed people would turn back for their wallet. 83% will go back to pick up their mobile if they forget it. They will not continue the journey, they will go back to pick up their mobiles. For Saudi Arabia, the mobile penetration or the smartphone penetration is 72% of the population. This is from the ITU research. And as Engineer Suhail said, 86% of the people would use mobile service in Saudi Arabia. Also, to think of mobility or providing mobile services, because mobile is a better medium of providing or delivering the services for few reasons. One of them is the availability and convenience of using the mobile. Services available to users are not only anytime, but also anywhere, because you carry your mobile and hopefully you have connectivity to data services through your mobile anywhere you go, or at least more accessible than computer devices. Moreover, mobile is always turned on, or if it's not turned on, it's very fast to really get to the surface. You do not need half a minute or 1 minute or a little bit more in order to start using the services. The way that mobile services are usually implemented is more personalized and targeting to the specific usage of the person. Because you know, from accessing the system using your mobile, you already, the system already knows who you are and is customized towards your need. For example, if you are accessing an education system, it will know whether you are a teacher or a student or a parent from just starting or launching the mobile application. And larger user base than computers, as we have seen about the subscribers to the mobile and the smartphones. The mobile also services provide more productivity gains to officials and employees, because by providing mobile services to officials and to employees, you are supporting more office hours, because the person doesn't need to be in his office or in his seat in order to perform his job. While he's traveling by car, while he's in a trip, while he's in meetings or between meetings or work, he can also perform certain tasks of work. The mobile office enabling remote smart work, and there are tools that support a lot of mobile services. There are many, of course, services that can be provided through mobile services. As we said, all e-government services can be really turned into mobile services just with implementing them with mobile apps. And most of the mobile apps, you have now to customize them towards the iOS or Android or Windows platforms. But I think this, even in the future, will really get minimized. Like we have the web applications. Before you used to customize them through certain browsers sometimes, but now you can have the open standard for the web technology. I guess in the future also the platform will be, there will come a time where we will have independent or platform independent mobile apps. But examples of government services that can be provided through mobiles: educational services, public transportation information, and as we know that Riyadh will have, inshallah, very efficient and huge public transportation system. The information about this public transportation system can be on the mobile. Traffic information, now it is readily available in the mobile. Payment services like mobile wallet or m-banking can be there. You can have better and tighter authentication also through the mobiles. And these are just some examples. Elaborating a little bit more on the education, we can have the e-learning content through mobile. Of course, we have to customize it through the mobile, because you know the mobile interface and the screen size of the mobile or the smartphones are different than the screen size of the computers. So it needs to be customized. And the assessment can also be part of the mobile services, class assessment or subject assessment. Student-teacher interaction or student-student interaction can also be through the mobile apps, where you have the same group log into the same subject or into the same classroom. Also, many of the services that are provided through the education systems, like NOR system, for example, for the Ministry of Education, are now provided into the mobile. The same thing as employee services like in ERP system also can be provided through the mobile. These are just opening remarks for the mobile government, and if you have questions,
thank you very much, Dr. Jarallah. And if you can give an idea to the audience, what was achieved in the past few years in the ministry? I know there are many projects. We cannot talk about all of these, but what are the, let's say, the lighthouse projects that you can mention, and what's in the planning?
Okay. Let me go very briefly, because we have given talks about each system, lengthy talks, but at least very briefly, we have, for example, NOR system. It provides more than 3,000 use cases, more than 3,000 electronic services to different constituents. We have large base, about 8 million direct users to the NOR systems. Just to tell about, it consists of more than 60 subsystems, and some of the systems are very huge by themselves within the system. Just to speak about how huge it is and its usage, last year alone, last academic year, for NOR system only, we have 21 billion transactions. So this tells you how huge the system is. In concurrent users, last year we have the peak at 265,000 concurrent users. At the same time, they are using the system. And it is directed actually towards the school and the users within the schools. That is the main concentration. And also, it serves entities that also serve the schools. We have many entities that serve the schools at 4 levels. We have the school level, we have the education officers level, above that is the directorate level, education director level, and then the headquarter or the ministry headquarter level. All of these use NOR system in order to support the school at certain functionality of the 3,000 different use cases of the system. Yeah. So it is a school management system. We have ERP system FARIS, where the uniqueness of FARIS is that it uses all the models. We went through the full-fledged 29 different modules of the ERP system, Oracle ERP system, e-business suite system, and also we went full-fledged to the whole ministry, from all the directors, not only towards the headquarter, and then, no, we went to the full-fledged. At the first time of rolling out, for example, our payroll, a little bit more than 651,000 paychecks has gone out of the FARIS, not the paycheck, actually pay transfers through the banks, go out of the ERP at one shot, and we've done it at one shot.
So this gives a good idea about the size of how these transactions are going now. What's in the planning for the coming years?
We are building now on in the analytics. So we will have we are starting BI system.
Okay.
So going towards more analytic there. We are concentrating a little bit more on the mobile applications. We already provided 20 different services, and we are increasing that. In about couple of months, we will add another 38 employee services through the mobile. We are planning within a year to increase the mobile applications to about 200 services through the mobile. So
thank you. Thank you very much. Now, if you have questions from the audience to Dr. Jarallah.
جمعان الزهراني جامعة الطائف. أنا عندي بس سؤال: how can you manage the change in internal agency or internal ministry, and also if there is some difficulties or difficulties or challenges, how can you manage to overcome these challenges?
So we're asking about change management and what difficulties you have in implementing such huge systems.
The question is for both. I mean,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dr. Eissa.
Okay. In most IT systems, you will have sometimes have to do certain change management. Why? Because usually IT systems change a little bit on the way that you do business, or it's supposed to do. Because if you did not change a little bit in the business, then you did not improve a lot in the way that things are done. So you're supposed to face sometimes some challenges on how to change people's way of doing things. But actually, within the school, actually, most of the teachers actually are for the changes. And this was a surprise to me, by the way. You know, I came from the university, from KFUPM, and I expected to find resistance within the school to change to, no, it was the opposite. Of course, there are certain percentage of resistance, but it is not that, the majority are for the change. In the ARB, probably the challenge is a little bit more. Because it is more of transaction-centric rather than education-centric, like in the school. But there are, the thing is that you have to expect the resistance before it happens. If you expect it, you can plan for it. But if you are expecting that you will find everybody is really encouraging you and will be push for the system, then probably you will be faced, okay, when you find some resistance, you will be amazed. The other thing is that try to utilize the support that you will get from the users, because you will have a base that are welcoming the change. Capitalize on that. That is probably one thing. The third thing that you have to do is that always win the leadership to your side. And the first rule of thumb, in order to have the leadership on your side, always tell them the truth.
Okay.
Especially if it is bad.
All right.
Yeah, let them know it from you and pave the ground how you can change it into a successful story.
Thank you. Now we'll come back to some common questions to the speakers. I want to move to our next speaker. Before that, the purpose of time. المهندس بندر العتيبي بمثل شركة سامسونج. فحابين بس نطرح بعض الأسئلة كونه ما في برزنتيشن معينة. يعني أول شيء، ما سبب مشاركة سامسونج في البانل؟
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم، والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين. بداية أود أن أشكر القائمين والمنظمين على هذا الحدث بإتاحة الفرصة لسامسونج أنها تشارك بما لديها من خبرات تخدم هذا المجال، وتتيح لنا الفرصة أيضا التعرف على الاحتياجات الموجودة. سبب مشاركة سامسونج، حقيقة سامسونج دائما حريصة على الحضور والمشاركة بمثل هذه المؤتمرات. زي ما قلت، التعلم والمعرفة الاحتياجات المستخدمين خاصة في السوق السعودي، لما نلاحظ من تطور كبير في التكنولوجيا الموجودة في السعودية، وحرص القائمين في هذه الدولة الله يحفظها أنها تصل إلى أرقى المستويات في التكنولوجيا.
يعني يمكن معظم الناس بتشوف سامسونج تعرفها بالسمارت فون وباللوحات
سمارت
الايباد زي البادز يعني. بس هل في موضوع الحكومه الالكترونيه شو مشاركتكم؟
صحيح. الحقيقه سامسونج قسم قطاع الاعمال تواجدت في السعوديه من كذا سنه لطرح حلول تقنيه ذكيه تخدم جميع المجالات، سواء كانت تعليميه او اداريه او صحيه، وتخلق بيئه عمل تخدم المستخدم بشكل سلس ومرن، تسهل من اداء مهامه واعماله بشكل منظم، يحفظ الوقت، يحفظ السريه، يعطي فاعليه اكبر للنشاطات اليوميه المستخدمه. اعتقد الحلول يمكن الكل يعرف سامسونج من خلال الاجهزه المحموله، لكن سامسونج الحقيقه لديها من الاجهزه الكثيره اللي هي بتتعامل كمنظومه واحده في البيئات المختلفه حسب طبيعه كل بيئه.
هل تتوقعون صعوبات في تطبيق الحلول في هذه المجالات؟ هل هي مختلفة عن الكونسيومر الكترونكس؟
تقصد السعودية؟
نعم، كيف راح تواجه هالأمر يعني؟
والله خليني أصرح بمعلومة للإخوان. آخر دراسة جات من كوريا إنه الشعب السعودي من أذكى الشعوب. فسألتهم كيف كانت، يعني كيف عرفتوا؟ قالوا الشعب السعودي الوحيد اللي بيستخدم الأجهزة بدون كتالوج. بدون ايش؟ بدون كتالوجات. قادر يتعامل مع الأجهزة بدون ما يرجع للكتالوجات. والله هذا دليل ذكاء، انه هو قادر يتعامل معها بطلاقة.
مدح بما يشبه.
بأمانة من خبرتنا في السوق السعودي ما واجهنا أي صعوبة مع المستخدمين، سواء كانوا أفراد أو قطاعات أو جهات، في استخدامهم مع التقنيات الجديدة الموجودة. بالعكس لاحظنا أنهم دائما بيطلبوا الأبديت وبيطلبوا الأشياء الأحدث. فهذا دليل أنه أعتقد أنه المستخدم سواء كان فرد أو مجموعة أو شركة على استعداد تام يتعامل مع أي تقنية وتكنولوجيا موجودة. ممتاز. وأتوقع النجاح.
بس الجهاز منك. So to wrap up this panel, قبل ما ناخذ بعض الأسئلة, I had some general slides. Do we have that ready? Okay. So of course, Engineer Suhail has summarized the topic from A to Z. We having all these stages and developing the e-government applications and using them, and what factors affect the implementing e-government and advancing in it. If you want to see from the presenters, did they cover all these aspects? Certainly, to have an e-government, let's say, ecosystem, you need all the elements to be in place. Technology and infrastructure may seem to be the most important, and people will concentrate on it, but it's only one part. Of course, we have to have the right legislations, which will allow the ease of use of these systems. You need to finance innovation, and we see some government projects which are financing, let's say, ventures in this domain by other entities in the government. I think financing innovation in the private sector for Saudi young enterprises is something needed in the country widely. Also, engaging the citizens. I agree with the remarks about the Twitter engagement, for example. We still see the majority of the communication is coming from the institution to the user, and in very few cases the feedback is there. And now these are things for discussion. I'm not here making judgment about what's happening. So I think citizen engagement can be more, can involve the users more in the communication process. Capacity building, of course, is a major endeavor in Saudi. All the government is involved into that. You have funds established, you have the pressure in all the sectors to get the young generation into becoming professionals into different sectors. And certainly you need the users to participate in creating these applications. You need them to be more involved. You need the private sector also to launch their own initiatives. One major remark which was mentioned about opening the data up, and this will help the market flourish by having by-product services. Everyone appreciates what Al-Ilm does, for example, in helping the people do their transactions online. Certainly, if the information infrastructure is available, people can start developing systems which will help in completing the e-government cycle. So that's something, for example, now SAMA has an initiative called Shumul, which will provide all the financial services as a platform, so other banks and even institutions can launch services on top of that platform. Certainly, what we would like to see is a customer-centric kind of e-government, and every country is hoping to go in that direction. Of course, these are the definitions by Engineer Suhail. We totally agree on these. The social aspect, the mobile aspect, also stressed by Dr. Jarallah. The analytics, I think this is just starting in the country. We have, once we have more and more data, which is in the open domain, then we can also have more analytics coming up. And the openness of the systems. I do see that there are steps in that direction at the country level, but still some organizations have a question mark there. Do we open up our data to the public? Is there secrecy around it or not? In Europe, for example, by the EU, the law says that if you generate any data, it has to be in the public domain, unless it's classified. So the majority of the data, once you generate it, we have that maybe Dr. Saad from GCS, he might comment on that. We have a lot of initiatives in the country to develop the base map, the infrastructure of the GIS for services. And these initiatives are separated. We don't have a lot of data in the public domain, so people can build on top of it instead of rebuilding it. Of course, trust is a major element. I think Yasser are already doing an excellent job there. They're guaranteeing for the government entities and for the citizens the authenticity of the information, the reliability. They are fighting cyber crime and all of that. So to summarize, of course, we have an example here on Singapore. It's one of the leading. But maybe a part of the discussion we can have how transparent is Saudi Arabia as a country in planning the next steps. How are we engaging everybody in the transparency on where are we going in the e-government? I know that people now are more aware of what Yasser is doing, what has been achieved. Maybe you need more promotion of how much you are planning for the future, and so people can be part of that movement. So to go back to our speakers, of course, cybersecurity is a major concern here. And I think that's something that needs to be covered. It was not planned in this session, but certainly it could be done later. So to go back to our speakers, if we want to measure what you have done against the parameters, which originally was presented by Engineer Suhail, how much of engagement do we have? And we can go back to the metrics on this smart government made features. How much are these systems using social media? How much mobile analytics and open to the public? Maybe we can start with Dr. Rawas. Just
most of it is part of the system now. As you said, the mobile is now growing up, and of course it is taking place of the portals, which used to be in the past few years. Now all the transactions are done through mobiles, whether it is financial or whether it's a business part. Also the trust, I mean, the Umrah Hajj system and the Umrah system, the investment in these two systems is very huge. You can imagine we have thousands of companies and landlords and all types of services. They are putting all their investment in this system. So it is trust-wise, and it is running secured, fully secured, and fully trusted.
okay. So we go back to your questions from the audience. Any final questions for the panel?
Muhammad Ibrahim, Project Manager, Ministry of Finance. My question to Dr. Jarallah. What is your current projects and your plan for next project to make integration between the Ministry of Education and the Ministry of Higher Education? Because we always know your current client, he's a small student. This student will go to the Ministry of Higher Education. Because we always focus to not duplicate the data, we want to always make integration between your service in your ministry and also the Ministry of Higher Education. I know you of course starting some projects, but what is your plan in this project in the future? Thank you.
I started answering the projects, but we have actually quite a large portfolio. We have more than 20 projects running now. Development system, including Noor, continuing Noor and Faris. Noor now we are about 87% complete of the system, still 13% to be completed. And also we have phase 2 that will be, we will launch the bid in about a couple of months. We will send it for bids. And Faris, we are deploying more components into the system. We are expecting by the end of the year we complete deployment of all the modules. Some of the modules we already deployed them to all systems. We have another project which is we call it Injaz, that is for office automation. All the transactions, all the paperwork, المعاملات, it flows document flow between departments automatically, so that we reach to a paperless office. You know that there are structured documents and unstructured documents. More than 80% of the documents that float usually in ministries are unstructured flow. These Injaz is for that kind of documents, and in the headquarters it is almost deployed. We have another phase of deploying it to the rest of the country, inshallah. We have the first phase of the GIS system already completed. We are sending for bid another phase. When we speak about the analytics, I said we have a BI. We already have a lot of analytics, by the way. We have our Noor system, Faris system, have thousands of reports, not hundreds, but thousands of reports actually now, currently. But this is not the kind of analytics that I'm speaking about. I'm speaking about more business intelligence and forecasting and this kind of thing, using the big data that we already have in order to forecast also, not only telling you about the current situation of your structure. So about the integration with the Ministry of Higher Education, by the way, for the last 3 years, we send all of our results of 12th grade students to universities and to employment agencies, by the way. So they used to consume this kind of information. We have also the same surface through Yasser integration, by the way, through Yasser Bus. We have it already there. So, and all the universities are welcome to connect to that and utilize it. Of course, they have to sign with us certain NDA in order to utilize the data, so that, because the governance of the data is important. Some of the data are important for us, and we think, for example, the student results are private to the student. So people have to get, anyone has access to it has to make sure that they are governing the data in the right form. And we do have, one of our projects is building an integration bus within the ministry and also to other ministries that are directly can connect to the ministry services.
Thank you. Any other questions so we can stay within the time frame? Yes, please.
Dr. Jarallah, wanted to know about who's operating your environment, since you said that you're handling a huge volumes of transactions and also concurrent users. Where is this hosted? Is this run by the ministry, or this is hosted at one of the local clouds?
No,
thank you.
It's only about 40 meters from my office, all the hosting. We do have our own data center, which is very advanced center, and the availability also within the center is very high.
Okay.
And we have very powerful servers. Alhamdulillah, our systems never, since about 2.5 years since we have all of these huge transactions, never, alhamdulillah, went down because of pressure on the servers. We do have sometimes planned shutdown. Unplanned shutdown were very minimal.
Okay.
And the utilization, for example, if we go to the utilization of the maximum utilization of our application servers, for example, for Noor, is about 55%, and for the and it is fluctuating, but all our utilization is not straight line. It is fluctuating. That means we have a lot of room. And for the database servers, where the highest utilization was about 60%. Of course, for Noor and Faris, we have them in separate clouds by themselves, because of we want to make sure that we do have enough power and enough capacity within these systems. But we are moving also towards cloud for other systems. We have, and we do have a lot of room for the power.
All right. Any other questions? Yeah, please, Dr. Rawas.
I want to add, if there are no questions, just I want to mention that besides the basic systems for Hajj and Umrah, internal and external, the ministry joined with the Ministry of Interior. We have some 2-3 big grand projects we're working on. One of them is building electronic gates for Mecca and for Mashair, using RFID and the complete system. When the pilgrim reach the exit port, he get identified through a smart RFID or whatever, and also the vehicle also get identified, and both of them, when they come to the entrance of Mecca, they can be recognized whether they are authorized or non-authorized. If they're authorized, they will continue to enter without any delay, without causing others also to stop, which is the case now. I think all of you knows that there are the queue goes
the
up,
checkpoints. And
the checkpoints, the queue goes about 10, 20 kilometers. So this project, the RFP is done, and we working on it, inshallah, and it will be very soon for bidding. The other project also, it's a grand project, is using either RFIDs or GPS, grouping Hajj, grouping the pilgrims. When they go for stoning or when they go for haram, when we want to move them from one place to another, there are now big projects to identify these groups and to allocate time slot for them, so each group can move in the proper time.
That's a huge logistics effort.
Yes, and this grouping is done in about 5 or 6 areas, to Jamarat, to Haram, to Medina, to airport, and some of it were done, and we got excellent results for this. Also, we are building a system to monitor the projects. You know that these days, all the projects are being monitored by several departments in the government. Now, we built a system which connect the document system, the ERP system, with the project system. So whenever any action is taken in normal ways, this the project systems come and take project monitoring system come and feel this action and put it in the system.
And because there are many projects on
there are many projects, and you don't need any human interference to follow each project and to see where it is and what's the percentage of the performance.
Very good. All right. Thank you, everyone. Big hand to our speakers.